Strange but true stories, tales from the light side, the dark side, and the other side. I'm Steve White. UFOs and the prospect of alien craft visiting us Earthlings have been in the news recently. Back in December, the U.S. Congress, in a $2.3 trillion omnibus appropriations bill, a requirement included in that, stated that the Pentagon and a number of intelligence agencies prepare a report laying out what they know about UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, which is just the military's jargon for UFOs. That report is scheduled for release on June 1st. Now, I wonder if today's story will be included in any of those reports. It's a story about pancakes, but not just any ordinary pancakes. Pancakes served up hot and fresh from an alien spacecraft? It just goes to show that everybody loves pancakes. Or do they? We travel back a little more than 60 years into the past for this intergalactic meetup and food review. April 11th, 1961, Eagle River, Wisconsin. About 11 a.m. on that Tuesday, chicken farmer and handyman Joe Simonton had just finished his lunch after his morning chores of feeding his chickens and taking care of his small farm in this rural community about 150 miles northwest of Green Bay. His midday meal was modest, but what was about to happen to him was out of this world. Mr. Simonton, who was 60 years old when this happened, turned to put his plate in the sink when he looked out his window and noticed an alien craft descending to land in his garden behind his house. Coming down just like an elevator is how he described it. More interested in what it was than being afraid of it, he went outside to get a closer look. Here's Joe telling his story a few days after the incident to a local television station.
I rushed out to see what it was, and by that time, there was a hatchway opening up in the top of it, just like the trunk of your car. And in there stood a little man, I say a little man, about 5 foot tall, holding up a jug or a container, and he motioned he wanted to drink. He motioned for water. So I walked up to him to get this jug, and I looked at his eyes, and they were so penetrating that I had to look away.
When he looked away from the unusual creature's eyes, he took note of the craft that they were traveling in. Simonton estimated the round, saucer-like craft was about 30 feet in diameter and 15 feet tall. It was hovering, though. He said it never actually touched down on the ground. The creature wore black or navy blue clothing with a turtleneck shirt and a helmet, as he remembered it. Simonton took the metallic jug the alien had given him to fill up, which he said weighed more than aluminum, down to his basement and put as much water in as the container could hold. When he returned, he noticed, once again, how mesmerizing the alien creature's eyes were. But it seemed as if he was grateful for Joe's help.
And he gave me a salute with the back of his hand, a gesture of thanks, I presume. And then, I gave him my salute. What am I going to do?
After the exchange of salutes, Joe said he noticed another of these creatures in the craft cooking something on a square, flat, flameless, yet hot surface.
I noticed this little man, same size of a man, right to the right side of the hatchway, cooking these pancakes, which I have one here yet.
Now, at this point in the news story, Joe pulled one of what he was calling a pancake out of a container to show to the camera. It's about the size of a potato chip and looks like a thin Melba toast cracker that's been cooked a bit too long. But Joe called it a pancake, so let's call it a pancake. And he wanted to give it a try. So the alien chef offered a stack of them to Simonton.
I pointed to him and made a gesture like eating. I thought maybe I'd get a conversation out of him. Nobody was saying anything. But he He didn't say a word. He just reached over and he got a handful of them, 4 of them, and he handed them down to me. And they were hot and greasy. And this man cooking these pancakes, it was on a square grill-like concern. I couldn't see any flame, but it seemed to be very hot. There was smoke coming from it.
He took them, and he sampled one. He was less than impressed by the intergalactic culinary skills.
If that was their food, God help them, because I took a bite of one of them, and it tasted like a piece of cardboard. And if that's what they lived on, no wonder they're small.
He saved the rest and let the U.S. Air Force, who came to investigate the incident, take a sample for analysis. They were found to contain flour, sugar, and grease, or, more succinctly, summed up by an Air Force spokesperson who said,
"It is outside the realm of the Air Force to pass judgment on Mr. Simonton's case. However, the pancakes that he turned over to the Air Force were turned over to the Food and Drug people, and they were analyzed as pure buckwheat pancakes."
One report that surfaced years after the incident, though, suggested the flour was of unknown origin. In a book which included this event titled The W Files, True Reports of Wisconsin's Unexplained Phenomena by J. Rath, quote, "It was rumored, however, that the wheat in the pancake was of an unknown type," end quote. Ufologist and astronomer J. Allen Hynek believed that Mr. Simonton had a true alien encounter, saying, "There is no question that Mr. Simonton felt that his contact had been a real experience." Well, after snacking on the less than tasty alien breakfast item, the old farmer said that they packed up and took off in a hurry.
And with that, he reached up and he closed his hatch with a heavy thud click like when it latched. And you couldn't a bit more see where that hatch was than you could see a hole in my hand. And with that, the thing started to raise just like it came down. Everything was timed perfect. It went up about 20 feet. It tilted at 45 degrees straight south and shot off. And within 2 or 3 seconds, it was out of sight. Well, there I stood in the driveway with a handful of greasy pancakes and my mouth open, wondering what the heck I saw, what had happened.
Simonton's neighbors confirmed part of his story, saying that they too spotted the spacecraft en route to Simonton's farm, with a few of them calling the authorities. It wasn't long before members of the U.S. Air Force with Project Blue Book showed up at his front door. In a follow-up report, they found Simonton to be a, quote, credible witness, but thought he had gone stir-crazy on his farm and made it up, end quote. However, they left the file open and labeled it unexplained. This has been another strange but true story. So, what do you think? Is Joe Simonton credible, snacking on out-of-this-world pancakes offered to him as a goodwill gesture by galaxy-hopping aliens? Or did Joe just have some leftover burned flapjacks on his stove and a little bit too much time on his hands? Let us know in the comments below. If this is your first time checking in with us here at SBT, subscribe and give us a like. There's lots of videos in the paranormal vein to keep you busy on this channel for a while. Sign up for notifications so you know when the next video drops to the channel. Thanks to all those who have. If you would like to support us, you can check out my latest audiobook I narrated, titled Project Renaissance: White Wings by Brian Gates. It's available on Audible. And check out my YouTube partner's latest channel, Down the Rabbit Hole, True Mysterious Stories, that he hosts. And as always, thanks for watching this video and for all the support over the years. I'm Steve White. Until next time.